So this is a really weird but really cool show. Yeah. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Movie Reviews Weekly, right here from Darwin's room, because of course, that's where this takes place. Today we're going to be talking about You. Not You. I'm talking about the Netflix show You, just in case there actually was any confusion on that. It stars Penn Badgley, and it's this Netflix drama that follows this guy who, at first, he appears to be a normal guy, and he has a laundry list of issues, like a really long laundry list of issues, and but the whole idea of it is that he's getting a girl to fall in love with him, and in the process of this, you start learning more and more about him and kind of like what's wrong with him. But it's a really, really interesting show. Really, that's like the best way that I can describe it for you guys right now, is that it's a very interesting show. And it definitely gives me Dexter vibes. If you guys ever watched the show Dexter, it has a lot of those kinds of vibes in it. Like, a lot. It probably directly took inspiration from that show, which I'm glad it did, because it totally worked. And that same feeling that I had when I was watching Dexter, I have a similar feeling when I watch this show. And I find it to be really enjoyable, and I like it quite a lot. Now, each season has a very, very well-told story. At both seasons, I found myself just compelled and enthralled by the story, just very intense. Now, the first episode of the first season, I remember I was watching, I was like, okay, this is alright. You know, nothing special, I don't know what the hype is about. And then literally at the end of that episode, I knew exactly why I needed to keep watching this show. And I knew why everyone got hooked on it. Because it's definitely a show that pulls you in right there within the closing credits of its first episode. And from that point on, I was binging all the way through. Now, of course, one thing that I will say about the show is that there's definitely those characters that they are purposely there simply for the sake of just kind of annoying you and for the purpose of putting you on edge. And that's really the most purpose that they serve. Of course, they do have a little bit of character development. The character development in this show is really good. It's really, really good. And I feel like that's what helps a TV show a lot, is because they have the time to be able to build on characters and, you know, really flesh out who they are and flesh out the story at the same time. So that's definitely a big advantage of shows. And I really love that about the show, because I was just very invested in everyone in it. And it's kind of funny because you are following the main character who you know is a little bit crazy. Meanwhile, you still find yourself rooting for him. You're like, that's my man Joe. I want him to fall in love. I want him to find love. But, you know, maybe he shouldn't, because he's not the best person, not the best role model. But there are some really nice relationships, friend relationships, that he develops with certain characters in each season that are really nice to watch, and you kind of just, you see the good in him through those friendships that he builds. And that's probably my favorite aspect of this show for both seasons, is that whole part right there, just how it kind of humanizes it in such a weird, twisted way. But back to the thing about the characters, there are just some characters that are purposely there just to annoy you or put you on edge and, you know, kind of foil the plans that Joe has about certain things. And while that's great and all, and it keeps you engaged, it does get a little bit repetitive, especially in season 2. There's a lot more of that. And at a certain point, it just kind of gets a little bit annoying, and it kind of messes with the theme of the show, and it's just kind of shifts your perspective on what it is. But to be honest, aside from that, which I didn't even mind that too much, because I enjoy being engaged and I like being on edge when I'm watching something. I enjoy the feeling of needing to see how is this going to end, you know? So I really didn't mind that too much, even if it got a little bit repetitive at times. And that's really all the negative things I have to say about it, because in the end, I thought this was a really good show. My one last complaint about it is that I am not a fan of the ending for season 2. I don't know how they're going to do season 3, but I hope they don't go the route that they were hinting at the end in the last episode of season 2, because I wasn't a fan. I feel like they could have ended it differently and just wrapped it up right there with season 2. But of course, you know, it's a show that's in high demand right now, so they're gonna go for season 3, and they gotta keep the intensity coming. So they're gonna probably go that route. So I'm just interested to see how it's gonna turn out. But it just wasn't my preferred ending. I would have liked to see it end a little bit differently. But aside from that, I really love this show, guys, and I do recommend watching it. Not with your family, though. It has a lot of mature content in it, like a lot, and it's usually very abrupt when it comes on screen, all of that mature content. So I do recommend, you know, watching it with friends or on your own. I don't know, just, you know, don't watch it with your parents or your grandparents. That's probably not the best idea at all. So don't do that. But definitely check this show out, because I'm going to give both seasons 4.5 out of 5 stars. There you have it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and be sure to stay tuned for another episode, because as I said last time, more reviews are coming. Take care.